this Sunday, though, you play Arsenal. And before we talk about it in depth and what's going to happen in the game, I want to show you a couple of tweets. This here from an Arsenal fan says, this is why I'm not bothered about the FA Cup. I want us to win because I want us to win every game. But in the big picture, what does it prove? It doesn't really benefit us that much. Another Arsenal fan today has tweeted that I hope we lose. We can't afford more injuries. We need, if we have that, that lineup for the Champions League, it's certainly possible to win it. City couldn't even create against us. So I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans today kind of want to win. Some want to win, but don't think they need the FA Cup. And others that hope they lose because they believe staying in the FA Cup could lead to more injuries for them. I need to ask you, first of all, why are there, not all, before anyone gets triggered, why are there Arsenal fans out there playing down? By the way, the FA Cup is their trophy. They're the most successful team ever in it. Their manager has only won 7% of all the trophies that he's competed in so far. To put that into perspective, and I actually did these numbers earlier today. Their greatest, Wenger won 11%, George Graham 16%, Klopp has won 20% of the tournaments he's competed in. Pep Guardiola 46% in the Prem, that is 40% in total in his career. Fergie 41% in his career. Jose 30% in the Premier League. Carlo Ancelotti 25%. They've got to try and win more trophies. Why are Arsenal fans, in your opinion, playing this down as though it's not important?
I think showing snobby attitude towards trophies is just the reason why Arsenal are where they are. The Arsenal fans that call out the mentality of their fan base are right. Sometimes when I see stuff like this, it's just so pathetic, to be honest with you. Saying stuff like the FA Cup doesn't matter. I can say that. You know why I can say that? Because we're in a Carabao Cup semi-final and we're more than likely to win the Europa League. I know that Liverpool have put themselves in a position that probably 90% likely I'm going to walk out from this season with 2 trophies minimum. Which for any club, okay, you won 2 trophies, you've obviously not failed like miserably or anything, but obviously you want to win the big ones. But with Arsenal, the fact that you want to come up here and say 4 years into this project that you do not care about who wins the FA Cup is just absolute insanity, to be honest with you. Arsenal Football Club 100% should be aiming to win the FA Cup because it's the one trophy they have the biggest chance of winning this season. Premier League, obviously, unfortunately, the scumbags are favorites. Champions League, you look at it and it's just like, okay, other than City and Real Madrid, who are really like in a position maybe okay, maybe clubs beneath that, it depends which side of the draw they're on, etc. But other like Real Madrid and City should be heavy favorites. So you look at the FA Cup, if Liverpool do knock out one of the contenders in Arsenal at home, because they're playing us at their own ground, which means they should be favorites, which means also all pressure is on them. All pressure is on Arteta as well to deliver a trophy. Because what you cannot do is have a Pochettino at Spurs thing, where you keep talking about process, and then win nothing. That's the problem. So every process, everything that a manager does at a football club, the end goal is to win a trophy. The end goal is, let me see some silverware. Now, obviously, Arsenal did not spend all that money to just win the FA Cup, but it might kickstart, the bloodthirst, if you would like to win trophies, to get involved in trophies, to just, want to win the Prem, want to win the Champs, want to do all of that stuff. Sometimes it helps when you're winning games because winning breeds winning. And all pressure is on Arteta and Arsenal this Sunday because Liverpool literally 3 days later play a Carabao Cup semi-final. So we're already in a semi-final of another domestic cup. And as I said, I have already stated our case with the Europa League. I think most people would agree that Liverpool are favourites to win the Europa League.
But you wouldn't celebrate winning the Carabao Cup, were you? Because last year you said it was embarrassing that Man United celebrated winning it, right?
No, I listen. Obviously,
you said why is there a Brazilian flag on the field? There'll be some kid in Sao Paulo that has never heard of the Carabao Cup. This is bullshit. You said something like that, right?
Yeah, and the same Brazilian kid now, knows exactly what the Carabao Cup is when we win it. So big up to his mom for telling him what the Carabao Cup is. But anyway, I really think Arsenal need to win this trophy because it's the trophy they have the biggest chance of winning. That's the thing. Because
I know it's not all Arsenal fans. There's a lot of gooners that want to win it, but a lot of the people I'm seeing stating that don't really care about it are like big Arteta advocates. And I think to myself, if you're really an advocate of Arteta, you've got to want him to win this because it buys him more time. If you believe Arteta's the guy and he needs time and he's going to get you to the top and maintain it, you need trophies, because if he wins the FA Cup this year, comes second in the league, does well in the Champions League, and there's overarching improvements and they reinvest money, it's then 2 FA Cups he's won, which is good for a fledgling manager, and he's getting you into title races. But you come second and go out in the semi-finals of the Champions League and don't win the FA Cup, even more pressure builds up next year. You need to want to win trophies. I know there's this nonsense of, we might get injuries if we stay in it. Trebles would never have been won by Manchester United and City if the attitude was, do you know what? We're not going to play strong teams in the FA Cup and the Champions League because we might get injuries and therefore not win the Premier League. Well, that's how greatness is forged. It is part of the risk versus reward. You can't go around on it. If you start telling your players you're not playing today because you might get injuries, you do realize you're going to put fatigue into their mind. You're going to make them nervous in training. They're actually going to end up with more injuries. You've just got to go out and play football. So I say this to these gooners, and they're probably young that are doing it. Stop this nonsense. You should be demanding to win every tournament. Just because you don't doesn't mean you throw baby out with the bathwater. But playing it down as well is done for this reason. So if they say now they're not bothered by it, if they lose on Sunday, they can say, well, I told you it wasn't even that important. It is a preemptive strike to try and downplay going out. And if they go out on Sunday, I know it's to Liverpool, so it may not be out and out embarrassing, but you're at home against another one of the favourites. You knock them out, you open up that tournament and give yourself an amazing chance to win. There's only one more team left in it that you could say are better than Arsenal there, and that's Man City. And the hope is get them in the next round at home, knock them out, and then that's it. You should then win the FA Cup. I know it's
no, 100%. And by the way, that was the Arsenal attitude towards the Carabao Cup. And now look, the Carabao Cup right now, Arsenal could have been in a semi-final easily. Arsenal could have been in a semi-final. So that's the thing. Like you look at the position that they're in right now. By the way, Arteta has more pressure on him than even Arsenal Football Club as an institution. Arteta, the manager alone, has a lot of pressure on him to win this trophy, because the last trophy he won was in 2020, and the players that won him said trophy, he actually got rid of them all in Aubameyang and Pepe and players like that. These are the players who played best in that FA Cup run. He literally got rid of them all. So you look at this current Arsenal situation, like, we keep talking about process this, process that. It's the fact that they need to win something, because this will just turn into a Pochettino, a Tottenham Hotspur type situation where you keep talking about processes and good football and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you look at the trophies and just ain't no trophies, ain't no nothing. So they need to win something. And the pressure is on the manager. The manager has all the pressure in the world right now. I think the pressure on Arsenal, on Arteta currently, is stronger than the pressure on Arsenal Football Club itself. Now, the one thing I dislike about the game on Sunday is there are replays. That's one thing that I will dislike. Sometimes they call Klopp, a moaner, and he's always complaining and he's always moaning. It's just like, you know what it is? This fixture congestion stuff is no joke. Because now, if there's a replay between Liverpool and Arsenal, you're looking at an extra game in the middle of the AFCON and the Asian Cup and the Nations League and the Euros and the Copa America and the blah blah blah, and it just keeps just piling on. So I just wish they just changed the rule, just like the Carabao Cup. Just go to penalties if it ends in a draw, to be honest with you. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I love the FA Cup, but I'm not a fan of the replays, if I'm being honest. And that's mainly because I like a game. I like cup games to end that day. I'm not even a big fan of 2 legs in the Champions League, because I like it just to end the day the game starts. I like it to be over. I love remember in lockdown when they did the European Cups in the summer as like a mini tournament, and it was just one. I actually loved it. I thought it was so good because it's hard to do. You couldn't really do it. Well, you could do it now. If you top your group, you play at home in the knockouts and it's one leg. I mean, you could do that, you know what I mean? Or you become seeded because of where you finish in your group. And imagine if you win your group in Europe, you're guaranteed a home tie all the way into the semi-finals, but the semi-finals are neutral. That's what an incentive to win your group. That could work. Less game time, still the same tournament. I don't buy this trophy bullshit. If Arteta wins the FA Cup, but he's still way off the title race, he should be sacked.
So, but this is the problem, Nico. You're talking about a title race that you might not even be able to win. because you've got two cheetahs racing alongside of you. One cheetah has like nitros where he can just press a button and go a lot faster. But
When you say cheetah, do you mean the animals or cheetahs? As in
no,
someone
cheetah's
cheating?
like the animal, like cheetah running alongside you. The cheating part was the nitros added to the cheetah. Like you just press a button and go a lot faster. But this is a trophy you have a chance of winning, and winning breeds winning. Like you look at the managers, they all have won trophies like this before they got to the bigger trophies. You need to start just breeding winning at your football club, and if you keep having this snobby attitude towards trophies, you'll end the season again trophyless, which means once again you're questioning Arteta massively at the end of the year. So yeah.
Look, Nico, isn't trophy bullshit. Winning trophies is a very, very important part of football. I understand your point. If Arteta finishes sixth this year and wins the FA Cup, there is still huge grounds to sack him. So again, this is what you're doing, Nico, is you're living in this world of extreme polarization, and the context of your super chat in terms of finishing miles away from the title but winning the FA Cup, is that enough to save the manager? No, I still think you guys should seriously consider sacking him at that point. But if he finishes 3 points after winning the title but wins you an FA Cup, surely that's a better season. And I understand, and you listen to a lot of the. I think playing 2 games a week and being in multiple competitions makes it easier for you. This notion that it's easier playing once a week, I think, is untrue. You have all week to dwell and fester over results and upcoming games rather than jumping from match to match to match to match. So, yeah, I don't think trophies are bullshit in any capacity at all, my friend. How do you see the game going, Hussam? Like, genuinely, how do you see it going? Because no Mo Salah, no Endo that's been doing well for you recently. Arsenal are at home, and Arsenal really, there is pressure on Arsenal, but they need a big performance because I think it's 1 win in 6 or 1 win in 7 for them. There's been a lot of negativity around. They're going to want to kind of put that. They then don't play for another 2 weeks because they go on their international break. It's been staggered this year, which I really like, by the way, sending half away and keeping half. It's a really good idea by the Premier League. How do you see the game going with that pressure on Arsenal, but with you some players missing at the Emirates this Sunday?
I think, first of all, Mo Salah is going to be a massive miss. I love the fact that he's proven everyone wrong this year. I was one of the people in the summer that said, we shouldn't be selling Mo Salah because he's just irreplaceable. And I got proven right. Currently, as things stand, you look at Mo Salah, obviously responsible for 51% of Liverpool's goals, which is absolute insanity. Meaning every 2 goals we score, he's either responsible for one of them via a goal or an assist, which is insane when you think about it, despite the amount of talent that we have. So obviously missing out on Mo Salah will be a massive miss for us. I think even Endo, despite I wasn't his biggest fan when we first signed him, this last month he's stepped up massively. He's had very good performances against Arsenal, funnily enough, at Anfield in the Premier League game. He had a very good game in that game as well. Stepped up, had a very good game. So I think he will also be a miss. And I suspect, as someone from the Asian continent, I suspect Japan will go far in this tournament. So that's a player we're probably losing for a month. When it comes to Mo Salah, AFCON really sometimes isn't played on paper. Egypt probably, they're the heritage team, if you'd like, of AFCON, because they always usually do well in it. But on paper, there's a couple of teams stronger than Egypt, like Algeria, like Morocco, like a couple of other teams who probably look in a better place to win it now, though. But when you look at this game, I think Jurgen Klopp is going to go to the Emirates. First of all, this game has draw written all over it. A FA Cup replay is the last thing that Arsenal and Liverpool need, and that's exactly what's going to happen, because it's the last thing both teams need. I think Klopp will give Arsenal the football, we'll surrender possession, and we will have players, kind of playing on the counter-attack more, if you would like. Jurgen Klopp apparently today in the press conference said stuff along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, that the Emirates is not a place for you to rest players. So he's obviously taking this game seriously. I suspect he probably goes with a strong lineup. I don't see much rest or much rotation in that game, to be honest with you, because after the Carabao Cup game against Fulham, we have kind of a 14-day break. So we have a break coming up. So I'm looking at this current situation that we're in with the FA Cup. If we lose this Sunday, I don't think it's as bad, of course, as if Arsenal lose, because they're at home and they've been knocked out of the other domestic cup. But I think Liverpool will probably surrender possession, try play on the counter attack. And obviously, I'm not saying we're going to park the bus or anything. I just think we're probably going to try play a smarter game where we just hit them on the counter attack, use our pace on the counter attack, and try to win the game of football. So I think this game, all pressure is on Arsenal, and sometimes when pressure is on Arsenal, they tend to not deliver. They tend to fold. So we'll see what happens, but I think this game smells of a draw. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if there's a replay. And if there is a team to win it, I probably think maybe we edge it by a goal, maybe a goal on the counter attack, something like that. So, yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this one. Both got players missing through injuries, the international tournaments and everything else. I just have this feeling. It depends on the crowd. I'm going to put this down to the Arsenal crowd. And the Arsenal fans won't like this because they'll say, well, it's the responsibility of the players. If the Arsenal crowd is really behind them and stays as relaxed as possible, I think Arsenal win. If there is a nervousness in the air, if there is huge tension that's created very early in this game, I see that getting into the players. I saw it in the last home game against West Ham, and I think it could be very prevalent in this game. So I think that Arsenal fans need to be fully behind their team. And on top of being behind their team, they've just got to try and stay relaxed and support them. I think Arsenal will win it, though. I think they're going to nick it on the day. 2-1, something close along those lines. I think it's going to be that shot in that arm that they need. And I kind of agree with you. It's never good to go out of a tournament at all. But with the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, and I think you're going to win that now with who's remaining in it. You're so much better than everybody that's left in it. You've got the Carabao Cup as well. I think you're going to rotate also for this game more so than Arsenal will. I don't think you're going to play loads and loads of kids, but generally rounds 3, rounds 4 of the FA Cup, invariably Klopp goes for a fair amount of rotation, irrespective of who he plays, if I remember correctly watching some of your earlier round games. So I think Arsenal will nick it. I think it's a big scalp if they do, because you don't want to be getting Arsenal Liverpool away from home in a quarter final or at Wembley in a semi-final, because you then atypically take it more seriously at that point. I understand you rotating a little bit more because you've got that Carabao Cup semi and you've got a genuine chance of winning the Europa League. I know they've got a chance of winning the Champions League, but I think Arsenal will take it a little more seriously than you will. Plus, I think their run of games recently, I think maybe if you were sitting 5 points on the top of the league, it could reverse round, but they need to win silverware. And I think Arteta knows that because that pressure's on him. So I'm pipping Arsenal to just beat you.
But with the Europa